So chaga mushroom, let's delve in. I really like chaga mushroom for really four main reasons, or there's four reasons that really stand out to me. That's the triterpenoid content, the inositol, we'll talk about that in a second. The melanin content, or an electrical component, we'll talk about that in a second. The polysaccharide content, we'll get to that in a second. And then the betulinic acid content. So let's delve in, as is often the case, where to begin? Let's begin with, betulinic acid, why not? So betulin is extracted from a birch tree that chaga tends to grow on. Just in case you're wondering, the birch tree is what produces this and chaga concentrates it. What is it and why is it good? So really, it affects viruses. Now, just a little side note for you to know, there's about 20 patents on chaga mushroom by Big Pharma, specifically concerning, or most of them are specifically concerning betulin or various forms of betulinic acid. And why would they do that? Well, it turns out betulinic acid is one of the most powerful antivirals on the planet. And mainly these are focused on its ability to stop, slow down, mitigate, prevent the spreading of HIV virus. So betulinic acid, just in general, in the laboratory, in normal research and in scientific investigations, betulinic acid, it was tested against common things like herpes virus, the flu virus, Echo 6 virus, and HIV, common ones that humans are exposed to on a day-to-day basis. And it was effective against all of them. That's pretty powerful. Really, the one other substance that tends to be an absolute antiviral or viricide is vitamin C. We'll talk about that in another video. But how betulin actually interacts, for example, with HIV, viruses have to mature. So, they infect some host cell and they take over the cell internally, they inject their RNA, and then they actually grab onto a bunch of other cells and they make a little glob, and then the virus has to mature. And it's almost like a spaceship. The RNA is protected by this thing called a capsid, that it's like a spaceship and it flows through our body, lands on the cell that it's attracted to, and then releases the contents. But this capsid is very, very important for allowing the virus to mature. It has some unique special qualities we're still trying to figure out. But it turns out betulinic acid interacts with the capsid, that spaceship, and prevents the maturation of the HIV virus and subsequently doesn't allow it to spread or slows it down in such a way that our body has the ability to handle it much, much better than before. So betulinic acid is a fantastic antiviral. Just so you know, that there aren't very many antivirals that we have, that we know of. The viruses are unique things. I mean, in the herb world, herbs that have evolved and had to deal with viruses for thousands and thousands and thousands of years, even before we were here, developed the machinery. And we're learning about these antiviral components in plants and animals. And chaga, through its betulin content, is fantastic. So cold, flu season, you're sick whatsoever, start drinking that chaga. You will definitely notice a benefit, sometimes even almost immediately. And it's really this only from chaga that comes from birch trees, which is what I prefer. So that it's betulinic acid, super powerful antiviral. Get on it, you need to know about it and experience the benefits. Okay, so polysaccharides. Number 2. To be quick, a lot of us, I think, have heard of polysaccharides, maybe beta-glucans. Why are they good? So in simple terms, really it's this. Our immune system, just like the HIV virus, has to mature. It doesn't come out of our bone marrow knowing exactly what to do. This is good, that's not good. I need to create inflammation over here and not over there. Our immune system actually has to learn. And it turns out beta-glucans are things out in nature that help expedite the learning process of our immune cells. So what do I mean when I say our immune is kind of stupid and has to learn? Well, we have autoimmune diseases that suck. That's our own immune system attacking us. Not cool. Like, rheumatoid arthritis, or maybe fibromyalgia or MS, something that our immune cells, and even actually this. So like when we get sick, and this affects everybody that I know. If you don't get sick, good, you're lucky. You're one of the few. When you get sick, you get a runny nose and a sore throat. Maybe your ears start ringing, or you can't hear. You have no energy. And that's from the common cold, or the common flu. And those symptoms that I just described, that's our immune system causing collateral damage on us. That sucks. We need to help modify that a little bit if we can. Is it even possible? Well, it turns out, yeah. And even allergies, if you're one of those individuals where like 2 times a year, 3 times a year, there's that mold spore season in the fall and in the early winter, and then there's that spring season. Here comes that pollen. If you're one of those people, you have those seasonal allergies, or you just have all kinds of food allergies. That's an uneducated, overactivated immune system. Basically, it says, look, we don't really know what's good or bad, so we're just going to throw up all kinds of inflammatory cytokines and interleukins and just hope it works. Yeah, great, it might work, but we suffer damage, or suffer collateral damage in the meantime. Anyway, so the beta-glucan specifically sources white blood cells, macrophages, or macrophages are attracted to beta-glucans. Either way, it works out great. So what happens is the white blood cell eats it. About an hour or 2 later, some new growths happen on its outer surface from 5 to maybe 20 molecules long, and all of a sudden this white blood cell is behaving differently. It's more attuned, it's more activated, it almost is more mature. So then this white blood cell kind of knows what to do all of a sudden, and it goes to our liver, it goes to our thymus, our spleen, our lymph nodes, anywhere, our Peyer's patches, anywhere where our immune cells are, what we think that we know, is where they mature. And all of a sudden, our immune cells start behaving badly. So say, for example, there's particular immune cells that we would, let's say neutrophils, for example. We would say, if you are looking in your textbook, or you just Google really quick what do neutrophils do, it'll say, oh, they eat bacteria, stuff like that. That's their main job. But once activated with the beta-glucans, now these neutrophils start attacking cancer cells. And they didn't do that before. This is new education. So a lot of our textbooks on our immune system is with old data. Now all of a sudden the neutrophil is attacking the cancer cell. Anyway, so something that happens, let's get back to the allergies really quick. So if you are someone who suffers from allergies, from an overactive immune system just in general, the beta-glucans start modulating that a little bit. So what does that mean for us? It means it helps our body to start cutting down the production of interleukin 4, interleukin 18, and interleukin 13. So what do? Really, so we have things called, well, they're immunoglobulins. What are they? I'm trying not to make this complicated. And I'm trying to make this all connect, because really it does. So we have immune globulins, one's called IgE, IgM, etc. They are these proteins that just grab onto all kinds of maybe parasites, bacteria, viruses, maybe food particles. The problem is when we have too many of them, they start grabbing on to us, on even just the normal food that we eat, and we develop an allergic reaction to that. So aside from our seasonal allergies, which is from the IgE, what I just described, those immunoglobulins, they can start attaching to our food, and then we have food intolerances. So the beta-glucan content, that complex sugar, the polysaccharide in chaga, lowers our production of IL-4 or interleukin 4, or our IgE production. So suddenly our allergies are way less significant than they were before. As well as are asthma. For example, if you have asthma or allergy-related asthma, that comes from another interleukin called interleukin 13 that specifically causes our lungs to swell up, our throat, our air passageway to swell up. Chaga starts lowering the production of that. And then there's IL-18 or interleukin 18. Chaga specifically, through our immune modulation via the polysaccharides, lower interleukin 18, and that's where we would get like IBS, Crohn's, irritable bowel syndrome, any inflammation in the gut. So when we experience allergies, typically we experience them with runny nose. We start getting congestion in our chest, maybe a little bit more difficulty breathing, or we eat something and then like 3 seconds later, we're spending like an hour on the toilet. Chaga starts modulating our immune system and actually calming it down. And then through more research of what we're actually learning, can activate new immune cells to start killing cancer. Now, I'm not saying that Chaga will cure your cancer, will cure my cancer, or cures cancer in general. But moving right along to a third thing that Chaga has to offer, the inositol or triterpenoids. Maybe you've heard of either of those two things, maybe not. Not a big deal, but in research, in the laboratories, in investigative study, we've exposed chaga extracts, the triterpenoid extracts, to various types of cancer. And the inositol shines more than any other, as far as I can tell, and selectively, meaning on purpose, it destroys via apoptosis or pre-programmed cell death, colon cancer, cervical cancer, breast cancer, skin cancer, and lung cancer. Now that's in the laboratory. I'm not saying it will cure your cancer at all, but just the research shows and it indicates that chaga is effective at specifically finding these strains of cancer and saying, hey, you know what? You need to deactivate yourself. So let's just recap real quick. So far we've covered the betulin. It's super powerful antiviral, super powerful. We've discovered that chaga can actually help educate our immune system and help actually calm it down, and then educate other parts of our immune system to fight things that actually need to be fought, not us. Then we have other areas that increase our immunity, our natural immunity, or allow our immune system to take a break. So say, for example, with cancer, it's nice if we have immune cells that kill the cancer cells themselves, but also we can say a supplement is good for our immune system in that it relieves some of the pressure. For example, what I mean by that is with inositol or triterpenoids from chaga, well, tell the cancer cell, you know what? Give the immune system a break. You need to terminate yourself. You need to kill yourself. Get out of here. Skedaddle. Be gone. You've been had. Anyway, so that's helping our immune system. It's giving it a break. It's allowing it to calm down. And as it calms down, so do our allergies. So remember, the polysaccharide content in chaga starts our ability to lower our production of those interleukins, or those things that give us allergies, the IgEs. So chaga just calms our body down through and through. Now, one other aspect, and this is where I'll leave it, melanin content. I've saved this one for last because it could be difficult to explain if you're not familiar with the terminology. I'm going to try and make it really, really simple. In short, all you need to know is this. We need energy. Part of our energy, it doesn't come from food, but for our normal cell lives, our cellular development, our morphology, or our physical shape, what we actually look like. In part, that's controlled by electricity. Not necessarily the macro foods that we eat. Yes, they do help, but our body uses electricity, that stuff that's flowing through the wires here and that's powering this camera. Our body uses that same stuff, and we need to absorb it. Okay, so let's just delve into this. So our body is semiconducting. What does that mean? So we have a metal wire, for example. Electricity on a metal wire, which is what we call conducting, the little electrons float on the surface, okay? But in semiconductors, they don't necessarily float on the surface. The structure of a semiconductor in and of itself allows current to flow in the middle, okay? And that's through the structure itself. So say, for example, you have a crystal. Do we know what a crystal is? It's like a self-repeating pattern. Like you could almost call a honeycomb. You know what like the shape of a honeycomb actually looks like? All these little things. Anyway, sometimes what allows a perfect structure to conduct electricity, there's a different molecule. So let's say you have red along your arm, and then all of a sudden there's a blue, and then red. That blue might have one more electron, or it might have one less electron than the others. So red has three electrons, and then the blue one might have 2 electrons, leaving a gap. It's not even with the other reds, has one less, or has one more. So there's an extra electron shoved in the middle of the structure somewhere. That allows electrons to flow in the middle. Okay, so there's half the story. Melanin in chaga. Okay. The structure of melanin in and of itself is called a dielectric. What is that? Okay, so just understand this. Dielectrics are kind of like antennas. So you have the antenna of your car, okay? There's radio waves flowing, and the antenna is harmonizing with that radio wave, and then it's passing that information along ultimately to your speakers, okay? It doesn't have the information in and of itself, it's just an antenna. But it can grab onto, it can hold on to, it can harmonize with, it can resonate to the radio waves or the satellite waves, and it allows it to travel to your speakers. So in this particular case, we're talking about melanin is an antenna for the sun. So you know when you walk out and the sun is shining, and you just feel good all of a sudden, like when you get into the sun. You know, if you have melanin in your skin, you should feel good. You just feel like you're soaking up the rays. You calm down. You're like, oh man, that sun feels good. You know, as long as it's not like 120 degrees and then that sun is, you know, it's overpowering. But I'm talking like maybe 75 up to 90 degrees maybe. You walk out in the sun and you feel good. You feel good on purpose. You are literally absorbing the solar rays of the sun through the melanin. Our melanin in our skin is capable of absorbing the full spectrum of visible light and beyond. And then that energy, okay, is transferred to our semiconducting body. So with semiconductors, remember, they don't have energy in and of themselves. But if you apply force, if you apply an energy, and in this case, it's through melanin, and when you apply that, you have electric energy now flowing. And our body literally takes the energy from the sun through melanin. Melanin amplifies that and sends it to our semiconducting body. And now our morphology is created through that. Our physical structure is created through that. We get energy through that. Our ability to have our proper metabolism. It does so many things for us. Oh, but actually, have you ever heard of grounding or earthing or walking barefoot? Earth is another place where we can get extra electrons that fill in the gaps. Let's say the red, blue is missing an electron. All of a sudden, it fills in the gap or has an extra electron. And now we're having electricity move in our body. That's basically it. Okay, so just to summarize one more time, chaga, you need to know chaga tastes good. Chaga is one of my favorite herbs because you can drink it for extreme periods of time and you feel good, okay? You see, a lot of times in herbology, you'll understand, man, this supplement makes me feel good, but if I take too much of it, I actually feel worse than I did before when I started drinking it. You know, and a lot of times when we look for an herb, we're looking for that herb to fulfill a need in us. And then we take it one time and we feel great, and then we take it again, we feel great, and then we take it again and we feel great. But we soon realize, whoa, you know what? I'm starting to feel bad. Let me stop everything I'm doing and allow my body to recover. That happens with all kinds of herbs, supplements, even normal food. Like if you ate, broccoli every day, eventually you're gonna get tired of it, and it will create an imbalance in your body. Same thing goes with herbs, but with chaga and some medicinal mushrooms and tonic herbs. I don't really like to use that word tonic a lot. I like to just talk about the benefits and in a different way that a lot of people can understand. Because when I say a tonic, and this is an adaptogen and that's a tonic herb, what does that even mean? You know, so I try not to use those words, but just so you know, if you are into herbology, chaga is a tonic adaptogenic herb. You can take it for a long time and not really experience any negative side effects. It just gives and gives and gives and gives. And it tastes great. Compared to most other herbs, it's an excellent coffee substitute. You can literally make a chaga latte. Give it to someone, say, hey, don't tell them that it's not coffee, and say, hey, here's a new drink I'm working on. You know, tell me what you think. They'll drink it and say, that tastes good. What is it? You know, you can even give it to kids like that, you know, trying to get some good medicinal substances in them. Anyway, I am bantering right now, so those are the aspects that I really, really love about chaga. Its affordability and its extreme health promoting effects. Hope you enjoy it. Have a good day.